Welcome back to the Women Veteran Entrepreneurs Podcast. My name is Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. As you can see, we have 3 new guests on this episode. But before we get started, I just want to let you know some of the things that we're doing at Morgan State University under the Women Veteran Entrepreneurs Program. So, of course, we have this wonderful roundtable podcast, whatever you want to call it. It's a discussion we have here. We also are working to get women certified, whether it's in the federal government, local government, and state government. We do a entrepreneurship boot camp for those women who are looking to do government contracting, specialized workshops, and then we have access to capital. And all of this is provided by funding through Truist Bank. So I want to thank them for that as well. We're working on our social media. So once we get our social media up, it's going to be Wave Podcast, WVE Podcast, and it's going to be on Facebook and Instagram. Just waiting for my interns to come back for the semester, and then we'll get that up and running. All right, so let me introduce the special guests that we have here. We'll start. I know how I see them. I'm just going to, if you all could just wave your hand like that. Barbara Ash, she's with the National Veteran Institute for Procurement. We have Lori Sales, and she's with Civility Management Solutions. And then we have Hyacinth Tucker with the Laundry Basket. I also mentioned your other company, but I mentioned this one.
Thank you.
So I do want to say thank you for your service. And I always want to say that to the veterans that we have on board. So as you know what we do. I'm going to disappear and I'm going to have the ladies, they'll have a conversation about. Today, we're talking about resources for vets. I'll turn over to you, Barbara Ash.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And what a treat and an honor and a pleasure to be here with 2 outstanding women. And I can't wait to hear what the laundry basket's all about.
Yeah. I like that.
I know, what a great name. So as I was introduced, Barbara Ash, National Veteran Institute for Procurement's a program I founded and run. And I'm looking at Lori here. Oops, she just went to her photo, but this is, she's a shining example of one of our graduates of the program, VIP. And I believe you are an Inc. 5000 again this year awardee.
That's correct.
Oh,
3 years now.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. So incredible story Lori has in terms of her growth. She came through the program a number of years ago and continues to support the program whenever she can. And we're very proud of just playing a small role in her success. And we were chatting before we got started because she said she's in a car. I couldn't tell. She's got it on a blur, which is great. And she's down meeting with a customer. So, but Lori, I'd love to know, I always find that it's the best advocate, or really, if I wanted to find out about something, I'm going to ask somebody who actually took the gosh, did whatever it is versus me talking about, if hate to put you on the spot, but I think it's more interesting to talk to somebody who had the user experience.
Thank you for asking. So resources, is that what you want me to go right to?
Yeah, because this is all about resources for veterans. Yeah, women owned.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I did do was I went to the Small Business Administration, SBA, and got a mentor. I was fortunate enough to get a mentor that was a retired 3-star General Army. So that was kind of cool to be sitting and talking business with a general, somebody that I used to have to salute and stand for position of attention for. So it was just great to be able to sit there and just talk about business and talk about family and talk about marriages and all those matters he wanted to discuss, with me entering into entrepreneurship, specifically in government contracting. And it was actually through him that I learned many more resources. So SBA was one of the founding places before I got over to you guys at VIP to learn a little bit more about the nuts and bolts.
Oh, that's great. And, my experience has been, and that's really how VIP found it. And I can't wait to hear from Hyacinth as well. Everything starts with a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It all starts with a conversation. You got to have those conversations. And and it's been a difficult time during COVID. I mean, here we are on a Zoom call, but it, it's those sitting down with somebody, right, and really connecting,
Yes.
and like you said, having the conversation about, do you have the infrastructure in place? Do you have the intestinal fortitude to be an entrepreneur and have those
Yes.
conversations, which you don't always have if you're just meeting somebody for the first time in a Zoom call. You tend to linger more and have those kind of
And let me
conversations.
just add, Barbara, how he did this whole thing with me. First of all, he told me, I need you to get an accountant and an attorney before you need them. And he wanted to meet my then husband because he says, unfortunately, in this land, with being an entrepreneur, a lot of divorces happen. And so he wanted to have that conversation. So as you were saying, we had real life discussions about the time commitment, about the different types of training that I'm going to need to take, about the commitment of my time, how many hours I'm going to need to put in as opposed to a regular 9-to-5 job. It's not the same. So you're correct. It was a really great place to start, and I have no regrets, and I'm still connected to that particular entity out of DC.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, let me just share a little bit about VIP. You've mentioned it a few times, and just as some folks know that are going to be listening in, what is this program? It's got all back behind me, all these VIPs back there, and
Great
of course
program.
oh, well, thank you. Thank you. And but it's a 3-day in-person program for veteran-owned and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses that want to accelerate their success in the federal government. And, as in particular, companies in Maryland are uniquely positioned, given the fact that a lot of government, a lot of expertise is right here in this region. VIP grads have won from Maryland have won over 4 billion in Prime Awards. I know you contributed to that number, Lori, significantly. And we're talking about women veterans, and we have we have 110 VIP graduates right here in the state of Maryland. That's 100 veteran entrepreneurs right here in the state of Maryland. We have 9 that made the Inc. 5000 list, Lori being one of them this year alone. And but overall, it's a national program. So we train veterans nationwide on a first come, first served basis at no cost to veterans nationwide across 5 curriculums in a 3-day training. We pick up the cost of the hotel, the meals, and the training for those 3 days. So you're in a classroom for 3 days with 49 other CEOs. And I don't teach the class, I just run the program. We have volunteer instructors from industry and government. It's market-based that teach you how to compete, comply, and perform and win. And we measure that over the course of the life of a company to see if we meet those objectives. So if you're a veteran-owned small business and interested in entering or scaling in government contracting, I encourage you to take advantage of this resource that is available to you. You mentioned SBA, and it is because of SBA that we are able to offer this program at no cost to veterans nationwide. And we train about 250 companies a year. Across those 5 curriculums, we can meet the company where they are in their development and government contracting, anywhere from just want to enter to now want to scale. I want to go global. I want to enter aerospace. So we continue to meet the development needs of those entrepreneurs that are veteran owned across those curriculums. And as I mentioned, Lori came through a number of years ago, and she's down there doing her thing in Atlanta, today, and growing her company, which is exciting. I want to turn it over, though, to Ms. Tucker, because as I said, we want to know the laundry basket. Come on.
Sure. Hello, everyone. So once again, I'm Hyacinth, the owner of the laundry basket. So
that is too adorable.
Hmm?
That's too adorable. I love that name.
Thank you. So we are a mobile laundry, dry cleaning, and alteration delivery service. So we service the greater DC, Maryland, and Northern Virginia area. And we like to say that we service the whole closet. So most of our clients are busy professionals. We also have contracts with like some luxury apartments and hotels. And then we are looking to enter into the space of government contracting to do uniforms. So we're a new company. This is our first year, so we're a couple of months old, but I did go through the entrepreneurship boot camp that Omar was talking about. So I just graduated from that a couple of weeks ago. And I also went through like project operation, which is dedicated towards women, veterans, not just women, but veterans. And they helped me as far as doing my business plan. So I've been a serial entrepreneur for like 15 years, but this new business is something that I feel like I can really, scale into the government side. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, that is so needed. And what perfect timing, because, this administration has made an executive order that we are to, buy American, right? And a lot of the apparel that our troops wear is not made in America.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, a lot of things aren't made in America.
But yes.
Clothing, shoes.
Yes,
all of
yes.
that.
Yes.
It's just and now, so this is great timing. If you can, get into the apparel side of it, but also we have a real commitment from this administration, not only to when it comes to using the power of the purse for equity for minorities, women, right? So they always say timing is everything.
Yes. Good. Thank you for that information. Okay.
So I encourage you to apply to VIP.
Oh, I so will.
Miss Tucker got to make her way. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yes,
because
thank you.
what I love that Barbara shared that's real for us as veterans, right? We're accustomed to camaraderie. We're accustomed to oneness. We're accustomed to having each other's back. La, 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 la. I served in the Marine Corps, ma'am. So leave no man behind is part of my life. That's all I know. But that 3 days that they paid for us to be there is excellent because you're fully engaged the entire time. Once you get that notebook and they partner you up and they give you a particular teaming opportunities to work together and get to know each other a little more. And all those things are just so added value. And then the networking and the meeting of other partners. So it's just potential partners. There's just so much to offer in those 3 days beyond just sitting in the training and being downloaded with all that great information. She really, really brings veterans together in the way that we need to be brought together. So I applaud you for that, Bob.
Oh, wow. I love
it.
We
make sure those conversations take place. That's where, a lot of gold right there in those conversations. And that you bring up a good point. I think veterans are, it's a community and it's a giving community. It's a community call to mission and to each other. And they never stop giving and they never, and they quickly connect and mentor other veterans. And so that is a uniqueness that we see from entrepreneurs that are veterans. So we benefit from that when we say our results, when, we've had out of those 2,000 graduates, they've won 17 billion, 4 billion in Maryland. Well, they were going to get there anyway. I just like to think we got them there faster. There was no stopping Lori.
How many classes do you offer per year?
We have five a year. So we train 250 a year. So it's, we've been doing it 14 years. Since 2009. And so we're in our 14th year. So, I encourage all veterans that are looking to enter into government contracting and, many of them do commercial. So Laura, you're selling to the National Guard, but that's a state procurement.
Mhm.
Right?
Well, right. It's actually it's still a federal government because the National Guard is just the Georgia National Guard, so it's actually still
Okay.
federal.
It's still federal.
They have their own contracting vehicles here,
Okay.
but we can work on a federal level as well. And actually, we're working on some things now to try to transition this work where it sits in the DC area as far as the CO's office, the contracting officer. In case Ms. Tucker doesn't know, but one thing that is great that we got to mention though, Barbara, is that what Ms. Tucker said that she's trying to do is come over to the federal government side, and that is the real meat of the training that all of Barbara's classes give. The new ones, though, I'm not so clear on. You want to talk about those, Barbara, because they're still somewhat new, right?
Yeah.
Like
So so when you came through, we just had one curriculum, and now we have 4 additional ones. So we only had Grow, and now we have Start. So that's something that, Ms. Tucker can come through, and that's for those just starting out in government contracting. And then we have Grow for those who want to expand, do more, and learn how to scale in the federal space. And then we have VIP International for those who want to go global. So, for a lot of the work you do, what your expertise is with the laundry basket, you could provide, the OCONUS support to bases around the world, right? But VIP International help you, figure out how to do that. And then we have VIP Aerospace for those that want to enter into the aerospace sector, whether it's supporting the Air Force, or supporting it through drones or the F-35 or, the new B-21, a lot of new opportunities in aerospace, a lot of investment being made there. And then our newest program just launched this year, VIP Advanced, for companies that are 10 million and up in revenue, because believe it or not, and Lori will tell you this, it never gets easy. The challenges just change.
That is so true. We've obtained a new contract with USAID. I'm extremely excited about. So we're about to start doing some OCONUS work, but the challenges of adjusting to that, because it's a different type of contract award than what we've had in the past. And ma'am, I know you know better than anybody here. I don't know how long, but I assume you retired with that general status there. However, training, right? One thing that we know well, and the reason why we're the greatest in the world, is because of the type of training. And so being told initially by my SBA mentor that training was important, and then really get out there and find that there was a VIP, that there was a PTAC, that there was places where you could go and constantly feed yourself that knowledge, because we're not the best by happenstance. We are the best in the world because of training. So you got to bring that same thought process to being an entrepreneur. Training.
Yeah. You have to be a lifelong learner, because your competition is.
Right? Yeah,
that's good, Barbara.
Yeah.
Now, Lori, have you been to VIP International yet?
No, not as of yet. But now that I've gotten into USAID, of course, I need to come back because I wrote my business plan, write the vision, make it plain, back in like 2011. Yeah. So we've been 10 years in as of this year, because we came out the gate at 2012. But I wrote in that business plan I wanted to be CONUS and OCONUS. So now to actually see the fruits of that and it's manifesting is like, yes. And supporting the OSCO office is kind of great, because, we'll be able to help other veterans. They're really working diligently, Barbara, to work with veterans. And so let me know if you want to try to, I see you writing, try to make some things happen. I can make up, possibly put a scenario there for you to have a meeting.
That's great. That's great.
And we all are here to help each other. That's what veterans do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you, Miss Tucker. Wow.
You're
1 year in.
10 years.
Yeah. I'm thinking about, wow, what a baby in the game, but you're already moving and shaking.
Well,
I love it.
But you were but for how long have you had your company? It sounded like you just 1 year, but weren't you doing commercial work before? Only 1 year? It's just 1 year you started your company.
Months. So we started July of this year.
July of this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to tell us about your other businesses? Because I heard Mr. Omar mention it.
Oh, no. Those are in the past.
Okay.
Those are in the past.
This is my baby. This is my baby now. So this is me full time. doing this. So I'm ready to just go all in. And so right now it's just been so, honestly, like I said, since it's been 5 months, just really just taking the classes, like you said, the resources are definitely here. Definitely here.
Yes.
So I am just filling, my knowledge base with all this information so that I can do that. So I did do the county and the state. So now the next step, of course, is the federal, but in the same time, still addressing like my current clients that I have now. Because
Yes.
we're doing laundry and dry and alterations, so it's a little busy, but we're managing it so that we can scale. So this was our, like I said, our first year. We haven't been 6 months yet, but we have a whole strategic plan 2023, which includes getting into the government.
Oh, that's
I
great.
love
it. I love it. And then, of course, coming out of COVID, we all need alterations.
Yes. to bring it in, right? To bring it in, right? Not out.
Bring it, right. Let's be positive with it, right?
To bring it in. We're gonna say positive.
But Barbara, I mean, Barbara, you know about this thing about what she just said about, and I know you hear more, so I'm bringing it up from my point for you to share about the commitment, right? Because she just said something that was really powerful, is that she's all in for this business. And I would say personally, you have to be in federal government contracting. At some point when you get your infrastructure and great team, you can do like me, run all around the world half the time and still be able to have some movement. But Barbara, the commitment, right? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, again, veterans, failure's not an option.
Right.
So before I founded VIP, I used to do a lot of this for just small businesses. I've always supported small businesses, but I can tell a difference. I am sorry. I'll just say it. Veterans, failure is not an option. And that's how you have to be about your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Failure cannot be there, and veterans don't work, 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or when you're in the military, it's not a 9 to 5 job. It's mission. Right?
Yes.
So I think so that training, that early on in your career, that training really does prepare you for what it takes to understand that, once you start hiring people, right? I mean, it's a huge commitment. Now they have, what if they buy a house? They have a kid in college. They, have made an investment in your company. You take that pretty seriously as an owner. And the customer, like, look at you, you're where you need to be because the customer wants you there, right? And I know it's not a great weather day down there, and it's often probably had to, and you're on the road working, and that you have to be a road warrior, quite frankly. And so absolutely, it takes a commitment, but again, I know our veterans are in a great position to be entrepreneurs because of their early training, the lessons they've learned while working in the military. I'm not a veteran. I just know the stories, and I can I can see where they're able to transition, as you mentioned, Lori, and I'm glad you mentioned the training, because I hadn't really connected that early understanding of how they train so you are prepared. Well, it's basically the same thing, right? And
yes, exactly.
Always having
definitely learning about flexibility, being open to opportunities, pivoting.
Yes.
It's because I was able to look and see what do they actually procure, where I was like, where can I fit in? Because I was like, laundry, dry cleaning, I'm not seeing they do uniforms. Okay, well, we sew, we alter. So, that's still in our lane. So being able to just kind of see what the opportunities are and just to go for it. And that's one of the things that, I know I learned is just embracing the fear. It's just kind of like, you just have to put yourself out there. You have to be open to opportunities, and just, great things will occur. So.
Well, as I had one a VIP graduate out in Colorado say to me once, somebody came into his office and he was all upset, something happened, and he said, "My God, calm down. Nobody's shooting at you." It's still a big problem.
Talk about putting in perspective, right?
Yeah, he's like, relax. And I thought that was pretty funny, you know, it's
Mhm.
like,
That's good. And I mean, from the simplest way of saying it to a veteran, you say that to anybody else, they're like, what? But the veteran, they should receive that and hear it and literally
Mhm.
calm down. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. I don't hear anything popping off. No,
It's gonna be all right
Yeah.
then.
it's gonna be, yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
ready to
be.
live through this moment.
Yes.
I love it.
I bet
And one other thing I want to highlight also that VIP has done a great job is, yeah, as she's here now, you know, talking about women veterans, because there are differences and there always will be differences just because there's differences between man and woman. But at the same time, those differences are not something that we want to look at as a handicap. And so Barbara has been consistent about, you know, speaking when it comes to women veterans, being a moderator on panels. I know you've done a few others with women veterans only that are entrepreneurs. So she's really helping to make sure that we're seen, that we're not like just the military spouse, but we are the woman veteran that also served and that is also an entrepreneur. And I applaud VIP for being able to do that. I've been one of her keynote speakers before at a breakfast. I've been on the Hill with her before, you know, so I've had a very long relationship with Ms. Barbara. When I was broke, she trusted and believed that I was going to do what I was supposed to do. And so I am glad to be on the other side of that.
Well, thank you, Lori. And you know, it's a big part of it is just being in the room, having those conversations.
Mhm.
Make sure you're in the room, right? Because once you're in the room, you got it, right?
Oh, I love it. Well, I am sold. I am sold. Had to be at least in business for 1 year. Okay, I'll be talking to you in about 6 months.
There you go. There you go. I'm counting. If not, we're going to get your contact information and. Yeah.
Well, this is great as always. You know, it's always good to have the conversation. You know, the podcast before was Dr. Retired. She always wanted me to say retired Major General Linda Singh, you know, having a conversation with individuals. But we decided to come up with this roundtable, you know, for you all to share and assist each other as well. And I heard some key takeaways, you know, the business plan, I call it BIT. I like acronyms too. So B is for business plan. You know, you talked about that, Lori. And you talked about, I'm gonna kind of switch it though. I'm gonna call it BTI because the training has to come up. Just skill up, you know, get those skills. And then infrastructure. And that's what, you know, when I work with entrepreneurs, you know, they always say, you know, I'm a solo entrepreneur and I can't grow. And I'm saying, well, what systems do you have in place? What infrastructure do you have in place? And you mentioned those as well. So great conversation, everybody. You know, really appreciate you all coming on to this episode of the Women Veteran Entrepreneurs. But before we leave, let's give out your contact information. We're going to start with you, Barbara, and then we'll go to Hyacinth and then Lori.
Okay. You can reach me at BASHE, that's BASHE at nationalvip.org. And you can call me anytime at 301-738-0015 at extension 215. Look forward to having a conversation.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. You can reach the laundry basket at 301-720-1556. Our website is www.whydoyoulaundry.com. And my email is info@laundrybasketdelivery.com.
I love it. Why do your laundry?
I love it. Yes, I do love it. Okay, Lori Sales, actually LinkedIn is the best place. I'm much of a serial entrepreneur, but federal government contracting is my primary thing, and I'm much of an advocate as well. So I have a pretty decent following with LinkedIn because I am walking and talking and trying to get people to be on my side of the game so they can join people like Ms. Tucker can join and Ms. Barbara Ash can teach us all. So thank you all so much for your time, but that's just Lori Sales, SAYLES on LinkedIn.
All right.
Great meeting both of you.
Absolutely. You can reach us at EDAC Morgan That's EDAC, the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center, Morgan. So edacmorgan.com. And you'll see past episodes of The Wave and some other activities that we do for entrepreneurs in the community. So again, really appreciate you all for coming on and looking forward to hearing more success stories coming from everybody. And,
Yeah.
and for the audience out there, until we meet again, continue to improve and progress. Peace.
Bye.